let's go for the next test drive, 100 kilometers per hour. That should be a little bit more relaxing because we are not getting overtaken by all these cars all the time. This was 103.4%. Probably 10 minutes ago when this charging stopped. Wow, it is nice and warm in here. Alright, 41 kilometers. 62 kilometers. Of course we will have the battery cooling kicking in straight away now. This is a bit of a disadvantage now and not optimal, of course, but there's not much we can do. Okay, so let's get started with the test. It's 80 kilometers an hour here, just until we get over the two bridges, and then from there it's 100 until Kominya, if we come that far. It looks like someone is doing a 60 kilometer per hour test. I have to slow down, can't overtake him here. Interesting, I've got only 4 leaves here, while before on the 60 kilometer test I had 5 all the time. Well, again we have some headwind, and you can see the consumption is 266 watt hours per kilometer, which is insanely high, 234 now for the last kilometer driven. While on the 60 kilometer test this morning we had only 150 watt hours per kilometer. That's why we go the same way back, so on the way back we should have had tailwind, which pushes us along, and we should save the energy again. Seems to stabilize at 237 watt hours per kilometer. Wow, there goes so quick now. So 10 kilometers traveled, 29 kilometers left here on the gasometer, and 37 only. It dropped 2 kilometers at once on the gasometer, and we are already down to 83.5% state of charge. So a lot more energy used while driving 100 kilometers with this car. It's not good. If you want to go far on the battery, don't drive fast. There you can see the grass here on the left hand side. We've got fairly strong headwind now, and energy consumption just went up to 277 watt hour per kilometer. So with the old battery, 70% state of health, we had to turn here where the truck actually turns. We had to turn here as well with the old battery. But now we still got 75% state of charge in here and 28 kilometers as a guess. So 20 kilometers traveled, 18 kilometers left on the gasometer, 19 kilometers left on the gasometer here on the car. And we are at 62.5% state of charge, so we have to turn around very soon before we actually reach Kominya. Okay, I'm turning around here. Alright. 17 kilometers, and we have traveled 21 kilometers, so in theory I can make it 40 kilometers all in total on 100 kilometers per hour. Okay, let's go back. Woohoo, someone got engine problems. So we have driven almost 30 kilometers now on pure electric. We've got 9 kilometers left on the dog and 8 kilometers left on the gasometer in the car. And you can also see the consumption has gone down from 250, 270 watt hours per kilometer to only 200 now with the tailwind. And I just gained my 5th leaf here. So it recognizes that and rewards me with all 5 green leaves. That's as efficient as you can be. A little bit of push from the back. Look at this consumption here. Dead flat road, tailwind, 177 watt hours per kilometer. And of course 5 leaves. And a super bumpy road. Jeez. So the engine will kick in every second now, 11.3 ampere hours. I guess it should come along any time now. There it is. We have driven 37.6 kilometers. So yeah, as expected, at 11 ampere hours reserve bottom buffer, the engine kicks in, regardless if I'm driving 60 or 100 kilometers per hour. It is different if you drive in the city though, with some regen and stop and go. It lets you push the battery further down to 25-26%, which is about 9 ampere hours then. Okay, it's so nice to have the aircon on now. Okay, so I'm just driving home in hybrid mode. I stopped the dog when the engine kicked in, so we've got the same result as with the other test. And I'll put the trip cards next to each other, as always, and we have a little chat about it, and then I'll let you go to do something more useful. And interesting to see, because of the battery degradation already, 30% is not 11 ampere hours anymore, it's only 10.7. So we lost already 0.3 ampere hours at the bottom reserve as well. Not good. Alright everyone, let's have a quick look at the trip cards of these 2 trips. One is with the 70% state of health battery, and on the right hand side is the 100% health of battery. Well, it's actually not 100% anymore. At this point of time when I did the test, it was down to 94, 95 already. So we lost already some capacity, of course, but let's have a quick look at these 2 trip cards. Well, it took me a little bit longer to do the test with the 100% healthy battery, because actually we could drive further, so the test took longer. The average speed on this test was 72 kilometers per hour only, while the test with the new battery was 79 kilometers per hour. And I was wondering why this is, but I can see this here. It took me longer to explain everything when we turned around, and I stopped only for 5.5% here. So this is probably why the average speed is a little bit faster on this way here. Well, there's no surprise here. This is all the same basically. So 26 kilometers with the 70% state of health battery, and 37.6 kilometers with the new battery. This is on 100%, this is on 100 kilometers per hour almost. So you can see the difference is not that much. You won't get 50 kilometers of range, of course, when you drive that fast. Just keep this in mind. This question pops up from time to time in the forum, and people are asking, I just bought this car and I'm driving on the highway and I can only make 25 kilometers. This is a very small battery, and the car is certainly not optimized for highway driving on pure electric. You can do it. You can drive up to probably 40 kilometers. No, you won't get 40 kilometers on a highway. Not on 100 kilometers per hour. On a flat road. Yeah, and you could see with the old battery I could drive it down to 8.2 ampere hours, while with the new one at 11 ampere hours the engine kicked in. This is the difference between an old battery and a new battery. Interesting to see. And again, as in the other test as well already seen, we've got a voltage spread of 51 millivolt here on the old pack, and only 26 millivolt in the new one. So the new one is fairly tight with all the cells. And yeah, this shows again, this is a new battery pack and this is the old one. So this is quite interesting to see under this higher load. There's not much to talk about here in the consumption section of the Dork. See, 21.3 kilowatt hours, and we've used 21.8, so almost the same conditions. We had the headwind on our way to Kominya and had tailwind on our way back. It was almost the same condition anyway. And you can see the battery temperatures, they're almost the same, 38 and 34. So there was not much difference between these two. Yeah, and again here, this is a calculation for... So on the old battery pack, we could only make it 26 kilometers far before the engine kicked in. And this is exactly, again, 70% of the range we could achieve with a new battery. And of course the capacity of the battery is linear to the achievable range, and even on the higher speed we will have the same result as on the lower speed. So 70% capacity means also 70% of range. And once we get the triple procedures carried out on the car and it goes to 100% state of health, we have to do this test again on a pure 100% state of health battery, because at the moment we are already down to 94%, so we have lost 6% already. And I want to do the same test again with a real 100% state of health battery. So expect at least 2 more videos with a new battery on 100% state of health. Okay guys, so far this video from today. We have done all the tests with the new and the old battery. At the end of this video, so quite in 10 seconds, I will show you the table of all the results again of the 60 kilometer per hour test and the 100 kilometer per hour test, and give you all the numbers and figures. So if you are interested in all these numbers, please hit the pause button on the video to read everything. And if you are not, thanks for watching, thanks for your support. This is Andy from Unplugged EV Australia signing off. You stay charged and we will see us in the next video, probably tomorrow. 2 things happened which I'm not overly happy about, and I would like to share this information with you, of course. Okay guys, talk to you tomorrow. See you then. Bye bye.